Long before Ireland was invaded by the British, before the Normans arrived, and even before the Vikings set foot on its shores, there existed a legal system unlike any other in Europe. A system rooted in tradition, fairness and community. It was called Brehon Law. Brehon Law was the native Irish legal system that governed Gaelic society for well over 1,000 years. It's named after the Brehons, learned judges who preserved and interpreted the law. Unlike modern laws created by parliaments or kings, Brehon Law was built on centuries of oral tradition, slowly codified over time by poets, scholars and monks. These manuscripts offer us a remarkable window into a system that prioritized fairness, community resolution, and honor over punishment and state control. One of the most striking aspects of Brehon Law. There were no prisons, no death penalty, no police. Justice was handled locally and focused on restoring balance, not exacting revenge. If you injured someone, you didn't go to jail. You paid an eric or honour price. This compensation varied depending on the severity of the injury, the social status of the victim, and even your own status. Think of it as a restorative justice. The wrongdoer makes the victim whole, and harmony is restored. Irish society under Brehon Law was highly stratified. Your social status determined your legal rights and your responsibilities. Nobles had more honour value. Poets, highly respected, had their own legal protections. Even farmers and craftsmen had rights tailored to their professions. If you insulted a poet, you could be fined heavily. Words had weight, and so did reputation. Surprisingly, for a medieval system, Brehon Law granted women certain rights that were unheard of in many parts of Europe. They could inherit property, divorce their husbands under several conditions, and claim compensation for assault or defamation.
In some ways, women in Gaelic Ireland had more legal autonomy than their counterparts in Norman or English societies of the time. It wasn't total equality, but it was progressive for the era.
Brehons weren't appointed by kings. They were scholars trained in law from a young age, often from hereditary legal families. Their role wasn't to enforce laws, but to interpret and apply them, usually at public gatherings or local courts known as ARDs. These judges were repositories of communal memory. They didn't make new laws, they safeguarded old ones. Justice was personal and communal. If someone was killed, it wasn't the state that acted, it was the family or clan. They could demand compensation, called irek, or pursue a blood feud. But such feuds were costly and dangerous, so peaceful settlements were strongly encouraged. In essence, the system was designed to reduce cycles of violence, not escalate them. So what happened to this sophisticated legal system? After the Norman invasion in the 12th century, English common law began to take hold, especially in urban centres, but Brehon Law persisted in rural Gaelic areas for centuries. By the 17th century, under the rule of Elizabeth I and later Cromwell, Brehon Law was banned outright. Judges were imprisoned or executed, manuscripts were hidden, the native legal system was systematically dismantled. But the echoes of Brehon Law never truly disappeared. Today, legal historians and justice reform advocates look to Brehon Law as a model of restorative justice, a system where healing matters more than punishment.
Brehon Law reminds us that justice can be community-based, even in complex societies. It's not just a relic, it's a resource for rethinking what justice could look like today.
For over 1,000 years, Brehon Law helped keep peace, settle disputes and guide the Irish people. Though buried by conquest, its spirit endures in memory, in manuscript and perhaps in the future of justice itself.